And hi everyone, this is Walking Problem, and this is the next video if you are coming from the previous video. Um, Today is 19th of October, 1:11 a.m. in Singapore, halfway around the globe from the east coast of the United States. And in a news that was 1 or 2 weeks ago, Singapore inks a deal for the Merck's antiviral pill to treat COVID-19 and its variants. So this pill is called okay, so let's describe about this pill. So okay, it's here. So this pill is actually known as Molnupiravir. The drug comes in a pill format. That's the most important thing. It's in a pill format that targets an enzyme that the virus needs to make copies of itself by introducing errors into this genetic code. And this particular enzyme, known as the viral polymerase, is conserved across multiple variants, making Molnupiravir effective across Gamma, Delta, and Mu variant. So this is the miracle drug that everyone was waiting for. A medicine you eat, you get rid of COVID-19. So Australia have already entered advanced supply agreement with MSD to produce 300,000. That was like 2 weeks ago news, and then other countries are also talking, including South Korea, Thailand, Taiwan, and Malaysia. So this is the Merck website. So their investigation shows that it reduces the risk of hospitalization or death by approximately 50% compared to placebo. Though this is an interim analysis of their phase 3 trial. So this is the October 1 report, which is what triggered all the different countries to buy from them. Let's see if we have I shouldn't just do that. Okay, let's see if they have anything new. So is this. So the latest news is that 1 week ago or so, they have submitted application for emergency use authorization from FDA. So hopefully it will be approved soon. In Singapore, it's already more or less approved. They are just waiting for the full report of the phase 3 trial. So same, this is what was said. So this drug is actually originally developed to treat influenza, and they currently undergoing 2 phase 3 trials globally, involving several thousand participants. So that's good. We have a huge phase 3 trial, where we need thousands of people to get a good sensing. And so current data shows that it's active against the most common variants. So they say that this will be a game changer for early treatment of patients with mild to moderate COVID-19. And what if you got severe? Watch my previous video. There is a solution for severe COVID-19 as well. So it will limit the disease progression to severe illness. So this is really important. So again, another article. This is IFL Science saying the same thing. So how does this pill work? Is that the treatment is the patient will take the pill over the course of 5 days, and 7.3% of the patient who was hospitalized, and compared to 14.1% of the placebo. So the number of people that were hospitalized reduced by half. So they said, so they do emphasize that the pill is not a replacement for vaccines, and they could work as an alternative to treatments like remdesivir and the monoclonal antibodies, which is Regencov. So, though this being an oral pill will cost 1/3 of them, so it's still likely going to be a few $100, it seems, for the whole treatment, since you're going to eat quite a lot of them. So this is this medicine initially had millions of dollars to research on it, and they had over 30 million to develop the drug. Then after that, it was taken over by Ridgeback Therapeutics. After the US government decided not to fund this research anymore, so it was taken over by this Ridgeback, and within 3 months, the Ridgeback licensed worldwide rights for it to Merck. So they had a upfront payment and whatever. So before signing on with Merck, Ridgeback tried to negotiate a deal with the BARDA by this whistleblower complaint by Rick Bright. So Rick Bright was the former director of BARDA. So you can watch my previous video to understand a bit more about this person. So Bright wrote that George Painter, the CEO of Emory Institute, and the Ridgeback co-founder sought a contract first from ASPR next, and then from BARDA to develop this medicine for 100 million, and then they lobbied the authorities to get more financial aid. But BARDA denied the request due to a lack of adequate documentation for the request. Even before 2020, Bright had been reluctant to give BARDA funding to this medicine because they said that they already had 30 million of support from N8 and Department of Defense. So Merck, this giant pharmaceutical, decided to back Ridgeback and took on the development of the drug. So in the end, but in September 2021, BARDA procured 1.7 million costs over the 5 days regimen for 1.2 billion, $700 per treatment. So eventually the federal funding returned back to this, and this today this has become one of the preeminent ways to fight COVID-19 that is currently under development. So 4 days ago, is this really 4 days ago? Yeah, so it's not 4 days ago. So Merck asked FDA to authorize this pill, which is we saw already just now. So however, the FDA said that it's unlikely to rule on this COVID pill before December. So they say that they want to ask its outside expert to review the Merck pill to treat COVID-19 in a meeting in late November. So FDA do not want to support this pill so early. They want to drag it. I'm not sure why they have to drag it out. Maybe something to do with vaccines, maybe, because the amount of lobbying and I would say corruption is very hard to imagine. So when you see Axios, so Axios came out with this article saying that the Merck backed antiviral Trump admin turned it down. So which is kind of weird because Trump was pushing for all sorts of treatment, whatever possibilities he wanted to fund it. So they said the Trump administration officials fought over whether to ultimately declined to fund the drug that Merck announced. So they say that Trump administration's decision delayed the development of the drug, which is kind of weird. So it was presented to Trump administration in the fall of 2019. So it was presented as a miracle cure for influenza, Ebola, and every other virus, even though the developer have yet to conduct clinical trials. So Robert Kadlec, if you this name, you would know if you have watched my previous video that this was the guy that was fighting with bright light, with the bright guy, the whistleblower guy. So he was excited. So but BARDA, which is then led by this whistleblower, this bright, ultimately declined to fund the manufacturing of the drug, which already had 30 million from federal government for the phase 1 clinical trials until more data was available. So in the end, this thing was taken over by Ridgeback Biotherapeutics and then take over by Merck. So Robert Kadlec was the one fighting with Bright, and he was working for Trump. And now they want to blame Trump for not getting this drug funded, which resulted that Merck eventually took over the research. But BARDA is the one that declined the finding, and BARDA is headed by Bright. So who is the one that actually denied the funding? You can think about it. So Matt Taibbi, on a podcast, he said that the problem was this was taking place in the middle of a massive sort of bureaucratic infighting issue between two wings of health bureaucracy. The head of BARDA, which is Bright, ended up going out and filing a whistleblower complaints that, among other things, include accusation that this drug is being rushed because of cronyism. So as a result, this drug ended up getting shelved. So he said that it was luck that Merck eventually picked up the drug. There was no funding for it, and it was only luck that Merck picked it up about a month later, 2 months later. That's why we have the drug now. But it could have been out a lot earlier. And I agree, if this is totally funded by the US government, especially during Trump's administration, the drug is likely going to come out a lot faster. Just look at how fast the vaccine came out. The pill might actually came out by the time the election comes about. But because it's privately funded, it takes a much more longer time without significant funding support from US government. So you can see that in Wall Street Journal, he said, in fact, Trump officials pushed for government funding to accelerate the development of the drug Molnupiravir. They were opposed by the career official Rick Bright, whom Democrats praised as a whistleblower. You see, this is WSJ. Wall Street Journal is not a pro-Trump media. So, and as you can see that there is some fake news that is going around, and people are trying to confuse all the narrative. But we all know Trump last year was trying to push all sort of treatments, all sort of possibilities, and this is one of the most promising ones. Although there's not enough data, but I'm sure that he will actually wanted to fund this and see where this goes. And unfortunately, it was not being done. So in this article, in Ricochet, so they actually have a much more detailed report about this. So Merck released the statement that they reduced by 50%, and it was so impressive with the result of the study that the independent board of experts monitoring the trial recommended it to be interrupted. Interrupted for what? I'm not sure. Is it the same article? And oh yeah, so he wanted the clinical trial to be stopped early so that the drug can apply for emergency authorization as soon as possible. So that's what the reason. So they wanted it to be interrupted so that it can be used in the field immediately. So then Axios reported, which is what I show you, that the drug was delayed 7 to 8 months by Trump administration officials. Unfortunately, so Axios trying to make it like it's a Trump thing. Trump denied us this medicine. But however, Alicia Finlay, of the Wall Street Journal reported it differently. He said that in fact, Trump officials pushed for government funding to accelerate the development of the drug, but were opposed by Rick Bright. So according to the journal, Rick Bright repeatedly clashes with the official. He was then reassigned to a lower level job. Then he filed a complaint, which you can learn about in my previous video. And he said that Trump, award contract based on political connection and cronyism. So he claimed that they were inappropriately pressing BARDA to fund clinical studies of Molnupiravir. We had shown promise against other viruses in lab experiment at the university. So he complained that George Painter and Robert Kadlec had urged BARDA in November 2019 to invest millions of dollars into their miracle cure. And it's noted that similar experimental drug in this class has shown to cause reproductive toxicity in animals and offspring, but this is nonsensical. You see, what other experimental drug causes? That's what other experimental drug causes. So this is just trying to remove himself from the responsibility. So he rejected the funding request, and this decision clearly frustrated Kadlec and further strained the relation. So this drug could have come up much earlier if it's not because of Bright. So eventually the university licensed the drug to Ridgeback, and then in April 2020 requested 100 million to fast track studies in human. So Bright said Trump official ordered BARDA officials to fund the Ridgeback proposal as quickly as possible and preferably within 24 hours. He said Ridgeback do not have the proper procedure for receiving BARDA funding, so BARDA declined. So Ridgeback eventually collaborated with Merck and put its own capital at risk. So after the reassignment, BARDA funding for trial manufacturing and advanced purchases of monoclonal antibodies proved critical in accelerating their development. Molnupiravir is likely to have been available much sooner had BARDA provided funding the Trump official urged. So you see Elizabeth Warren saying what Elizabeth Warren says, and we all know where they go, or what she says goes. So in this article as well, so much more fun to blame on Trump, isn't it? So in this October 2020 article, there is 3 antiviral drugs that's being detailed here. One of them is actually this Merck one, which is the Molnupiravir. And what happened to these other 2? So all these are like similar kind of research. They have different ways to deal with the virus. So ABX6464 terminated. Interim analysis concludes the study is futile. And so what happens to the this Galidicivir? So BioCryst stopped. BioCryst is the developer for this one. BioCryst stopped COVID-19 work to target other viral R&D. So they say that is developing the drug Galidicivir as a potential treatment for more than 20 RNA viruses, but SARS-CoV-2 viruses that cause COVID-19 will no longer be one of them. So in these 3, only one left, which is the one that this Molnupiravir. Molnupiravir is the only one left. So in this very early articles, early article in June, this is June 12, 2020. This was talking about animal trial that this MK4482 or EIDD 2801 or Molnupiravir has managed to suppress completely the transmission of coronavirus in just 24 hours on what? On an animal, on the ferret. So this is the first demonstration of an orally available drug that quickly blocks the transmission of SARS-CoV-2. So it was developed at the Emory University in Atlanta, and they were testing this on ferret, and at this point they lost. They do not get the funding from the government, so they were at this. So they were unable to do much more until it was picked up by Merck, and Merck took took this research, I think close to this time or slightly before that. I kind of forget. So Merck. I'm not sure Merck. So in April, so yeah, I think probably it's because of this the result of this research that Merck came on board and bought the rights to see you. So it was licensed to reach back, then partner with Merck. Yeah, so it also means this research came out after the partnership. So they believe that ferret is a relevant transmission model because they easily spread SARS-CoV-19 and SARS-CoV-2, and they did not develop serious disease, same as a young human adult. And then based on this data, the patients can become non-infectious within 24 hours starting treatment. So they can be taken, drug can be taken orally, inhibiting the progress to severe disease, shortening infectious phase to alleviate emotional and socio-economic costs of prolonged patient isolation, and quickly containing local outbreaks. So then it goes into phase 2 and phase 3 trials, and today we know that it will at least reduce the serious COVID by 50%. And in April this year, is already licensed in India. So we can read that. Looks a bit small for you, I think. So Merck agreed to facilitate the manufacture and distribution of Molnupiravir, and they are looking at how to get this into the hand of the people in India. So we can see that they entered licensing agreement with 5 Indian generic manufacturers, and this agreement will speed up the availability of the drug in India and other countries, following a potential approval and emergency authorization by the regulatory agencies. So this is the drug, this is the medicine that we are all hoping to get for COVID-19 that we always dream of. It's coming, and hopefully this will stop all these vaccine problems and debates. I still think that you should get a vaccine. It's not, I don't think it's a replacement. It definitely helps to reduce the chance of hospitalization, and with this medicine you can ensure that you're safe from COVID-19, and hopefully we will all get into herd immunity soon and end this pandemic once and for all. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.